and welcome back to the Pretty Little Podcast. We're your hosts.
My name is Phoebe.
And my name is Caroline. And happy April Fool's Day! Guys, I hope you don't get freaking pranked today. I hope you don't get PR-ranked today. Phoebe, what's the prank forecast like over in Nashville today on April Fool's Day? Give it to me straight.
I'm not planning any pranks.
What?
But I'll let you know. I'll let you know if I get pranked.
Phoebe,
I don't have anybody to prank.
Kind of unlike you. Okay, little known fact about Phoebe, queen of pranks. She's the queen of pranks, and everyone knows this. And one time when we were in high school, she replaced
we were never in high school together. It's giving Phaedra. It's giving. Well, we actually weren't together. We weren't actually together in high school because she's a little bit older than me. Well, we won't go there, but
okay.
we
so
can.
Anyway,
We can.
Remember how a while ago I was like, Phoebe, your brain is cooked. Like this is another example of that. But yeah, it is kind of like that, I guess. Okay, so I was in high school, and Phoebe replaced all of the like windshield fluid in my car.
Wait, okay, for a second, I was like, is she about to start? Is she gonna be?
You thought I was gonna make something up? Yeah, no, I'm not doing that. Okay,
no.
so anyway, Phoebe replaced all. Phoebe,
up.
shut up. Phoebe, let me tell the story. So Phoebe replaced all of the windshield like fluid in my Honda Civic with melted Jolly Ranchers, but she didn't realize that the issue would be that like they wouldn't stay melted, so they all hardened up. And Dad, it literally destroyed the car, and I had to get a new car. I had to get a Porsche. Because Dad felt so bad for me. He was like, Caroline,
and you know who would hate that?
I can't believe Phoebe did this to you. Let's get you a Porsche.
You know who would hate that?
Who?
Chapel Roan.
Chapel Roan would hate that I drove a Porsche in high school. Okay, I can't help who I am. I can't help my roots.
The conversation where they're talking about cars on Call Her Daddy, and Chapel's like, yeah, I'm still driving like my mom's old car, like all this stuff. And she's like, what kind of car do you drive?
and Alex is like, what do you think?
Alex was like, I drive a Porsche. And then Alex was made to feel like she had to like justify the fact that she bought a Porsche. She was like, in high school, I like never had the nice car. I would like park blocks away so that the people at my school couldn't see my car. So like when I finally had enough money to buy a car, I was like, I'm going to buy like a nice car.
Well, it's also funny because I feel like Alex Cooper has talked about the fact that she's just been like, I don't feel like I'm enjoying my wealth yet. Like I'm like working really hard. So
yeah,
it's not, we've talked about this, how she's not like going on these crazy vacations or anything. Like it seems like all the money she makes, she's pouring back in.
Pick Me Chapel Roan. Pick Me Chapel Roan comes into the studio and is like, you don't know.
Guys.
You don't know.
Guys, did you watch Chapel on Call Her Daddy? I didn't finish it. Okay, well, honestly, and I have to tell you, and like somebody said it on Twitter, they were like, Chapel is almost impressively unlikable,
and it sucks. Like I think like if she were a normal person, I think she'd be likable.
And the truth is, if we were to meet her IRL, like before we would probably be friends with her. But like we all know someone like this, but it's just like, unfortunately, when you're famous, you do have to manufacture a personality for the masses. And Chapel's not interested in doing that, which is fine. But then people are gonna think you're unlikable within the context of Chapel Roan, you know?
Yeah, I agree. What I will say, though, the critique I've mainly seen has been about what she said about politics.
Yeah.
Like, and she wasn't even saying anything about politics. I kind of disagree with the take online of, like, she's acting like her life is so hard, and I'm like, I understand to an extent being like a celebrity's life is not harder than ours, a normal person's life. But I do think we need to hold a little space for like, they are busy.
Yeah,
like, they have to be on all the time. They have to do all this stuff. And to me, I actually appreciate that someone, now what I have liked for her, especially someone who has the voice that she has and the way that she seems to be passionate about certain topics, it would have maybe been great if she had come out a little earlier and endorsed someone. However, I don't think that would have changed the outcome, number one. And number two, I kind of appreciate when a celebrity is willing to be like, I don't it's not my job to like fucking go to school for political science and tell you how to feel. All these comments that are like, she said, how am I supposed to do that and be as politically educated as I can be? And all these comments are like the same way everybody does. I'm like, okay, not everybody does do that.
Yeah.
And that's okay. There was a time, and I know that things are different now, but there was a time where like you didn't have to have a political science degree.
Yeah.
To just be a person.
No, definitely. And I think part of the criticism, at least that I've seen about Chappell and her comments on politics and all this, is like she's made statements before about how famous people need to like speak up and use their platform.
Well, that's
you know,
different.
and now
and maybe it's like now that she's on the other foot.
Well, exactly. Like, that's exactly what it is. So it's a little bit of this hypocritical thing where it's like, well, are you like when you weren't in a position to use your platform, you are mad at people for not, or even when she just started having the platform. But now that you have the platform, you're like, why do I have to do it? And it's like, well, because you wanted people like you to do it. That's
and also
why,
because I
you
feel
know,
like she
that's
makes
kind
these
of
statements that are like, drag is political, being queer is political.
Yeah.
All this stuff is like, that's very much a part, I feel like, of what she stands for. So I understand, but I do think that I think that just the general discourse, the way that people are making it about celebrities as a whole and not just Chappell kind of bothers me, just because like I don't want every actor I see in a movie, I don't want to know their political standing.
Well, and the truth is,
I don't need to know, because the thing is that most of them, I know they're no more educated than I am. Yeah. So like, why do I really care?
Well, and
I'll go to a journalist.
And we've said like with great power comes great responsibility. So I think there's also this piece of it where it's like, okay, to a degree, I want to hear what my favorite singer, you know, thinks about politics. But the other side of this is like, if you're going to say something, you need to make sure that it's like the right thing. You need to make sure that you're like,
you can speak about
it. But also I think that a lot of famous people, like, look at what Taylor Swift speaks about politics and look what happens. I mean, yeah, it didn't change the outcome of the election, but how many more people registered and things like that. So it's like, there is something to be said for right place, right time, making a statement, saying something about politics. And it's like, but the problem is there are a lot of famous people who aren't educated on politics but feel like they need to make a statement about it, and that's where it gets a little bit murky, because it's like, well, okay, that's a little dangerous because now you're saying something you don't know that much about, and you've just empowered the masses to believe what you're thinking, and you don't even know what you said. You know,
that's exactly what it is. And I just think that we need to go, well, I mean, and this is in so many different ways concerning so many different things. We need to go back to just like letting celebrities talk about what they want to talk about when they want to talk about it.
Well, I feel like that's the issue, though. Is like Chappell does want to talk about it, and like stop talking about it. If you don't want to talk about it, don't talk about it.
That's what it is. But I do think a little bit of that comes from the discourse online, and it like, I just think that if we were to stop pressuring it, we might honestly be like pleasantly surprised about who would come out and speak about it.
It's also that thing of like, if I ask you for a compliment and you give me one, that doesn't mean you actually meant it, you know? So it's like, if we're asking every famous person for a statement, it doesn't necessarily
mean... That's exactly how her endorsement felt when it happened.
And so it's like,
the fact that, I mean, she didn't even say Kamala's name right in the video. Right. And it's like, it just sounded like this was on your checklist from your publicist, like things that you needed to do.
I think for Chappell too, I'm just like, you not saying her name right goes against like everything you stand for. It's not Chappelle, it's Chappell.
Yeah, that. And also it's like, it wasn't like this was like when she was like it was like the beginning of everything.
No,
you didn't make an announcement until like September. Anyway,
I do before all the Chappell stands come for us. Listen, like, we love Chappell Roan, and I just like, this is a case of, I just honestly, it's better for me not to
know anything about her.
Not for me to watch her interviews. Like, it's just better that way.
I feel like her publicist was probably like, this is like, we'll get her in the room with Alex Cooper. Like, this is gonna, because
It was awkward.
This is the first interview in a long time where a lot of silence, a lot of like, Chapel would say something and either like finish her thought in a couple of seconds.
I kept thinking
like that would be her thought.
Yeah, I kept thinking my thing was scrubbing.
And Alex would like laugh. Like she would fill the awkward silence with like, oh my God, you're so funny.
I
Chapel,
know,
like,
forcing herself to like laugh and have a react. I know.
There was not like
no chemistry.
there.
No, I felt the same way. I was like, oh, this, and it's a lot less fun to watch that way. Yeah. Like I just felt, I don't know.
And it's just like, we know how easy it is because we know Alex.
Yes.
Before we get into the rest of the agenda, I just want to say something that is, we know Alex.
We know Alex.
Before I didn't put this on the agenda, but I did just have this thought because it's something I did with my hand. I want to talk very quickly about Grant Trout. Is that his name?
Oh, Maddie's husband?
Maddie Pruitt's husband.
Maddie Pruitt's husband. Oh, let's talk about it.
Listen, I got a reel of theirs on my
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah. Super interesting. And there's another person that I watch on TikTok made a TikTok about this, what I'm going to say about them, that I'll reference. I feel a little differently about him because he's a pastor. However, I think that a lot of influencers who are Christians need to like look inward and be like, am I really the person to be
deliver this message
teaching? And it's like, it's not even about like the TikTok that I watched. He was like, there's a difference between wanting to use your platform to like evangelize, to like share your story and be like, this is what this has done for me, and then also thinking that you're the person to teach millions of people about this thing.
There's a lot of self-importance over there,
and I just like, I don't know what I don't want to, because Grant's a pastor, I don't want to like necessarily rope him into that same group, but I do feel that way about Maddie. It's like, what authority do you have?
Yes.
And it's not because he's a man and she's a woman. That's not why I'm saying that. But I just am a little bit.
Well, we watched her on The Bachelor. So like,
that's what
it's a little hard. I'm like trying to reconcile that girl with this person. And it's like,
and that's never been a part of her testimony. That's never been something that she's brought up that has been like, and I learned this thing about myself that really brought me back to be this person that you're seeing now. We don't ever talk about that. And I just think, I don't know. It seems self-indulgent, self-important.
Yes.
It feels.
I also think, like, because Phoebe, you're religious, like, a little. I mean, I don't know if you want to like get into your faith at all, but I'm not really, and Phoebe is, and I will say that like, I see Grant and Maddie's clips, and I'm like, this is actually bad for like Christianity because I'm like, a lot
of people feel that way.
You know what I mean? I'm like, people, this is not getting people to like want to be into it.
And the reason I said that this is what made me this movement a little cowabunga,
a little cowabunga,
is because Grant was like, I wake up every day and I'm like, today's gonna be the day. The way he talks,
you did it. Okay. Add to Phoebe's impression list. It's not just Robert Durst anymore. It's also Grant Trout, because she just did the head movements and like the eyes and like I am on. He's giving like I'm on steroids for God. Like it's like crazy.
Yes. And that's something he would say. But he's like, today's gonna be the day. I want to make sure we're good. I want to make sure.
Oh my God! Wait, good. Yes, he does do that.
What do you want to be caught doing? And it's like, okay, I understand I understand to an extent what you're getting at. But first of all, you're not roping people in here because people are like, wait, that is a fear-based mentality.
Yes.
You are living your
life.
What do
you want to be caught doing? I don't want to be caught. I don't like the idea of being caught at all, actually, Grant. Can we get me on their podcast? Get me, without Phoebe, just get me on their podcast. And I want them to start asking me, what do I want to be caught doing? I'm like, caught? I didn't know I was on the run, okay? I didn't know I was a criminal on the freaking run.
And to me, it feels like they are living, and I mean, with their words, this is what it seems like. But when they clearly have some kind of peace. So I don't really want, I mean, to each their own. But to me, it seems like an exhausting way to practice Christianity.
Yeah.
And it just feels like like, I saw this comment on that video that I saw that is making me bring this up, and they were like, the whole point of everything that Christians believe in is that you don't have to live your life like that.
Right.
We are freed from that.
Right.
Because of what happened. So, like, you're putting this idea into people that they need to live scared.
Yes.
And the whole point of what we practice is so that we don't have to be that way.
Well, and what's interesting is the video that I just saw of them is Maddie saying, Grant, is it arrogant to say that I know 100% that I'm going to heaven? And he says, no, because obviously you're not going to heaven because of you.
Position there.
Literally, he goes, you're not going to heaven because of you. You're going to heaven because of him. Because he died for us. Blah, blah,
so
blah.
it's like,
and she goes, wow.
If you're going to say that, I don't understand how those two things have, I mean, I understand, like, you don't necessarily want to be caught, like, jerking off when Jesus comes back. But
hey, Grant, I want to let you know heaven is full of people who are jerking off, okay? I just want to let you know heaven is full of jerk-offers, okay?
I got this sense that they, and I don't know, I got this sense that they were people that maybe don't, I believe that, like, whatever. I don't know. I was annoyed. There's this, I saw this quote by Pope Francis the other day, and I just think that,
and
like,
it was like,
Christian
Maddie and Grant Trout need to end their podcast. And you were like, right on.
He said that in the hospital. He was on a ventilator.
And we're canceled.
No, but he has this quote where he says, I don't know who's going to be in hell, but I really hope it's empty. And I think that is, like, that's the Christian posture to have.
Yeah.
And that's not where Grant and Maddie
No.
are. And it's not in a way where they don't speak in a condemning way very often, but it's in a very, like,
it's almost like toxic positivity, where it's just like, you know, it's like,
I'm gonna love you out of your sin. You're
exactly. Well, it's just like when they talk about having sex and they're like, oh God, we're fighting, we're mad at each other. We're gonna say, you know what, God wants us to do this. We're gonna go crazy on each other for God, because we're not letting the devil win. We're gonna look the devil in the eyes and say, we're about to fuck and prove to you that you can't come between us. God, this is for you.
God is in heaven, like, the Regina George scream in heaven is happening every time they have sex.
Literally, they're like, God, where did you get those Caltine bars? They're all in your teeth. Anyway, I just have such a, like, I never will ever
a nice little religious talk.
Yeah, well, it is a Sunday,
bright and early in the morning.
It is a Sunday, everybody. Yeah, so hope you enjoyed that. If you're not familiar with Maddie and Grant Trout, lucky you. It's just like, sometimes I watch because I'm literally like jaw dropped, like, this is unbelievable.
I watched to work on my
cowabunga hand motions. Your Grant impression, yeah. Well, it's pretty good, so I think you can stop watching.
I want to make sure we're good. I want to make sure we're good.
And you even have the mouth down, Fee. Wow, okay, we need a videotape you doing it. Okay, fine. And we're tagging him, and he's going to be like, okay, you know what? Come to church. Come.
Bring her on.
Yeah, let's go. Anyway, but before we really dive into, like, all of the other people's business we're going to first talk about our own, because Phoebe said she had a rough night last night, and I need to hear more, and so do you.
I didn't have a
Phoebe,
rough night.
Quick question is, were you living by the word of the Lord? Would Grant and Maddie Trout be pleased with your actions last night?
No, but they would have felt God during my love song performance.
Oh my God! I was like, during what? During what? Okay, talk us through your evening. You party animal.
My evening wasn't. No. My evening was not rough. The morning is rough.
Phoebe sent me a TikTok at like 4 a.m. Yeah, I know what you mean, because I got a TikTok from you at 4 a.m. when I was sound asleep. I was actually sound asleep. Yeah. So anyway, what did you do?
It was my friend. Today's my friend Laura's birthday and our little sister's birthday. Happy birthday, Lily.
Yes, happy birthday, Lily.
Do you want to know something crazy? Laura's birthday is today, and also Lily's birthday is today, and Mimi's sister's birthday is today.
Oh my God, you blew my mind. That's actually capital C crazy. So you guys went out on Broadway? You went on the Big Bad B-Way?
No, of course not. We did not go to Broadway. Well, what we did, Laura actually had a really good, for her birthday, she decided to do a mock Love is Blind at her house, and then we went out after.
How did that work?
I'll explain it. She had everybody come dressed as what they think her type is.
Oh my God.
So we all she gave us like a list of like her type kind of, and then you could kind of like embellish and get
what
creative.
What did you wear? Like what was her type?
I dressed as someone who's only attractive in the context of the tavern in Nashville.
Okay. Right. All right.
And I was just like the most insufferable like indie boy ever. Who like
so you didn't have to try that hard.
It was well. Okay. I walked out of one of the rooms and the person behind the curtain said, "Do you hate me?" And I was like, bingo. What's so funny is I got two people to say, "I think I'm in love with you." And then I got one person to say, "Do you hate me?" And I was like, that is who that's my character to
But
achieve.
that is it. Yeah.
That's exactly who I've tried to create. So basically,
wow. Okay, so Phoebe, you're having a new career change. You're going to be an actor. Okay, we've been waiting for the day you finally just accepted your fate.
It's just because, I mean, yes, and my debut role will be, of course, everybody say it with me,
the MC in Cabaret. Oh, whoops. Did you hear what I said?
No, actually, MC in the Cabaret, but I will be Robert Durst being MC in the Cabaret.
Wow, now this I gotta see. Okay, so back to the love. Oh, gotcha.
Killed them all.
I can tell she's about to do it because she does this crazy death rattle breathe. She goes right before she's about to talk.
Like him. Anyway, and so Laura had in like 4 rooms in the house. She put like a sheet in the middle, so like. There were 4 groups of us, and then one group would stay in the pods, and then we would rotate through the rooms, and we would have like 5 minutes to have a conversation, and then at the end we did reveals.
Wow. So what was the
it was epic.
What was the like point though?
Not
in a rude way. Well, who got engaged? Did you get engaged?
I got engaged. Mimi got engaged. Mimi and I actually had a game plan. We were gonna and it would have worked if she had not been the first one who had to go up and like have the reveal. Mimi did something very funny, and we were in the same group, so we didn't get to go on a date with each other, which sucked because I would have loved it. We were when we were driving, we did a bunch of errands before the party, and we were driving, she started singing Annie, her favorite musical.
Oh, Mimi, we gotta get you into Caroline's School of Broadway Babies.
And I was like, what if you just like what if that was your backstory? What if you were like Annie all grown up, and that just came out in the conversation?
I'm little orphan Annie, all grown up.
You slowly, like, people are like, where are you from? The big city,
New York.
they're like, do you have like any siblings? Well, I mean, what's a sibling to you?
Like 50. Sure. I got Molly, Peppa, Duffy.
Why is Annie just drama?
I know. I just realized that. I'm from Brooklyn. That's why I have a Brooklyn accent, because Mama's from New York. Mama is not from New York, drama. She's from New York, so I have a Brooklyn accent.
And so is Grandma. Grandma's from New York, too.
And Grandma's from New York, too.
Never let her forget. Anyway, so Mimi and I were going, like, our plan initially when we realized we were in the same group was that we were gonna, like, whoever proposed to us, that was the ideal setup, is that someone would propose to us and we would say no. And we'd say the truth is, I really formed a stronger connection with someone in my group.
Wow.
And then Mimi and I were gonna get engaged.
Well, that kind of ruins the fun. So
because
thank God.
Mimi got engaged first and didn't go through with the plan.
Did you feel betrayed?
I was like, wow.
But then you still got engaged.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then I kind of feel bad for your partner. Because your partner was a second choice. and she's gonna find out after she listens to this episode.
Well, she was number 2 on my list.
So literally your second choice. Yeah. So I'm exactly right. Thank you. Yeah.
Mimi got engaged to my number 1 choice.
Oh, so Mimi wasn't even your number 1 choice. So you can't even be mad.
No, Mimi and I couldn't date.
You really are. Okay, Romeo and Juliet.
That's why the drama would have happened.
Oh my God. Okay, Montagues and Capulets. Okay.
It would have been like on Love Is Blind. Like if 2 of the girls or 2 of the guys were like, wait, I've developed a stronger connection outside of the pods.
Would make the show infinitely more interesting.
So much better.
I'm just like not that into the show. Sorry. Sorry, I would rather watch certified hotties like making insane decisions together than
So we did that, and then we went to a couple bars, and we ended up at a bar where I got to sing Love Song, of course.
Well, of course. That sounds really fun. What a fun night you had. Can I tell you about my night?
Let's hear it.
Okay. So I decided that I had a really great day. If any of you listened to my voice memo from Saturday, I just had a really chill vibe. I just was literally chilling all day. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to a movie. I'm going to go see a movie by myself. Kelly's out of town, so I didn't have my right-hand man to go with. So I look at the movies and...
Could you find your way?
I found my way, but just barely. I'm looking at the movies and Death of a Unicorn pops up. Have you...
I've seen the trailer. I'm not sure if I'm going to see it.
Yeah. Well,
I actually was really interested in it when I saw the trailer until I realized that it was about a unicorn.
Yeah. There's something really funny that they do in the movie, and we'll get into it. But so it's Jenna Ortega and Paul Rudd. So I was like, okay. And it's A24. So I was like, it must be good. Like, I'm going to just go see it, whatever. And I'm looking at the seats, and they're like sold out. So when it's sold out like that, it must be. There, and it's rated R. So at first I was like, is this like a kid movie? But like, no. So I was like, okay, all signs are pointing to like it's a weird premise, but like it'll probably be good. And I love Paul Rudd, so I'll go. So I go, and I had to get the seat like in the handicap aisle, how they have the seats for like the person who would accompany someone in a wheelchair. And you can sit there as long as like someone else is in either seat. So that's the seat that I purchased. And I was like not thrilled about it because I don't like when like everyone has to walk in front of you. Just like X, Y, and Z. You know, there are a million things. So I wasn't thrilled, but like whatever. I get in. And there's this
every time I've gone to that theater with Caroline, she definitely is like picky about her seats.
Well, I am, but then it's like beggars can't be choosers.
I still sometimes I when I saw that Heretic was on HBO Max, now I started laughing thinking about that whole experience.
Oh, but it was a good one.
And thank goodness the first 3 minutes of that movie are a comedy, so like everybody was kind of laughing, but because we were trying to hold in our laughter.
My God, we were being disruptive. Anyway, so I'm in line getting concessions, all right? And I've timed this perfectly. I've now figured out the exact right time to show up so that I go in right as they're playing the ad for Cinemark Rewards. So it's like right about to actually start. And I know you love previews, but like for this kind of thing, it's like I want to be in my house as long as I can before I actually have to be with other people. So, but this really, really like old as the hills man and I are in line together. And this guy, I mean, he's like 3 feet tall. Like he is this tiny, tiny, tiny old man. And he's like silent. He's not speaking. He orders this extra large popcorn. I'm not judging him at all, obviously. But
sounds like it.
I was like, that's kind of cute. Like this old man. He's alone. And he gets this massive, massive popcorn. It's like the huge one that like you can get refills on. But I didn't really think about that when I saw him get it. Or I would not have thought it was as cute. So he's checking out. He's taking forever. But I'm like, okay. And I look down at his shoes. Oh, he's wearing Valentino sneakers. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry, sir. I was unfamiliar with your game. Turns out you're cool. Turns out, of course, we showed up at the same time. And we're like, I mean, we're both like drop dead divas.
I should have known. We're family.
We're family at this Cinemark at this hour. You're wearing your Valentino sneakers. Like, love you. So he finishes up. He leaves. I walk into the movie and I'm like, oh, great. We're also in the same movie. And he's also sitting in the handicapped row. So he's sitting and like these chairs are spaced out from each other. So I was like, ideally, I'm not going to be able to like hear any breathing or chewing or anything. Cause like, again, we're pretty far away from each other. So he's sitting there.
Not so lucky.
Oh, Phoebe, I actually can't explain to you the speed with which this man ate the popcorn. I mean, it was like, I actually thought, you know how quickly people like grab napkins out of a napkin holder?
Yeah.
I thought that's what he was doing. I thought he had a ton of napkins in like his cup holder and he was like taking them all out. No, that was him eating popcorn. It was like,
and him seeing that movie is interesting.
He's alone also. It was so weird. So I'm like, okay, like Caroline, just if you're also eating popcorn, like you won't be as annoyed. But I could see him out of the corner of my eye.
I hate
shoveling it into his mouth, which like alerted me to the noises. And every now and then it would be like an insanely loud, like, I mean, it was like crazy. Okay. So I decided I'm going to go to the bathroom and let him finish his popcorn because I can't be around him anymore. I'm like also staring at him. I'm like, I thought we were friends. Now I know we're not. Like I'm staring at him, hoping he's going to get the hint. Like, shut the fuck up. I walk past him, and he's almost done. He's like reaching in the big thing. I'm like, okay, by the time I come back, he'll be done. Phoebe,
refill.
I get back. The man has just sat down with a fucking refill of the extra large popcorn. I got my shit and left. I left the movie. I made it 20 minutes in. I couldn't do it. I literally couldn't do it. I was like about to start crying. So has anybody used those?
Wait, he finished that thing in 20 minutes?
Yes! That's how fast. I'm telling you, Phoebe. It was like, it defied.
How many
I couldn't believe it.
buckets do you think he got?
I don't know, but I was like, I'm not sticking around to find out. And there was nowhere else for me to go sit. Like, I would have moved seats. I was like, this is disruptive. I was so fucking mad. Not to mention there's a goddamn unicorn on my screen. And I was just like, I'm sorry, but I don't believe this. Like, you're giving me this.
You're not meant to go to a movie without
Kelly. I just was like, this is hell on earth. But there was one funny moment of the movie where they hit the unicorn. Okay, so they're like driving the car, they hit the unicorn. They're like, what the fuck was that? They turn around, and it's like Paul Rudd and Jenna Ortega walk up, and they're like, I mean, obviously it's a unicorn, but they can't say that because you can't say.
Okay, it's you and me.
You can't.
Okay, it's you and me. It's you and me. We hit a unicorn.
Okay, it's you and me. We hit a unicorn. We both walk over to it. Neither one of us is saying, is that a unicorn? Well, we might, but like they did not say it. They're like,
we're taking pictures. We're live. We're live at that point.
Yeah, we're already live on TikTok. It seems to be some sort of like, they're like, it seems to be a mammal, maybe an endangered mammal, went through an accident. So it has just one horn instead of like, they're like, won't say. And she goes, it's a fucking unicorn because neither one of them. And I was like, that is funny. Like the thing where it's like, okay, we can't say out loud what this is, but we both know what this is. Like, this is obviously a unicorn.
Imagine.
But we can't say that this is a unicorn because that's crazy. So it just was kind of like that was the only funny part.
Well, you didn't make it very far.
Before I left.
So,
I left.
Caroline's full-fledged review of the unicorn movie is there was one funny joke, and I watched the whole thing.
My Letterboxd review is literally, but my question is, has anybody, because Alex Earl just posted about using Loops headphones. Have you seen these?
Well, I saw her talking about it with Fibula.
Okay.
You know Fibula? Because he has it too. And they were talking about it, and they were like, I needed to like just figure, because like I'm at an age where it's like I can't just like be a bitch about this. Like I have to do something about it.
I feel it's really honestly like I was just listening. It's like debilitating.
Oh, Tina and Amy were talking about it, I think, and they were like, there's like a name for it. Like there's like it's them?
Like, but I don't know. I feel like I would remember. Maybe there was, but I just like. I don't like, believe me, nobody wants to be unbothered by your chewing more than I do. Like, I do not want to hear it. I don't want to be like irate, but it literally drives me to the point of tears. Like, it will make me so mad and upset that I will start crying, and like I can't get out of my own head enough to. And it's really not. Some people it is you. For some people, hey, it is you. Yeah. You need to learn how to chew in public. But for some people, it's really not you. You could chew perfectly. It's still going to bother me. And then I'm so self-conscious about my own chewing because I'm like, surely if I'm this annoyed by other people, they're that annoyed by me. And like, and I don't understand people who don't have it. Like Lily.
No, I don't get it either.
Lily's not bothered by chewing at all. And I'm like, I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous. So it's really, I'm not trying to be a bitch. I'm really not. But Alex Earl did say that the Loops headphones allowed her to like enjoy Christmas dinner with her family and like not. She said afterwards she went in her room and cried because she was like so relieved that and it's like that's how I would feel if I could go to a movie and not be plagued by fucking.
And we're never gonna get thoughts like that again.
What?
From Alex Earl.
Yes, we are. We still have some of our business to talk about. I want to talk about Anthony for a second. Anthony needs a little spotlight on the pod this week because he's just been a great husband. We were in bed the other night and I was like, oh, I just feel like looking at the anthropology juice glasses because I saw a TikTok of a girl with all her glasses and I showed it to Anthony and I was like, hey, it's like me. And like, keep in mind, Anthony kind of hates these glasses because they're hand wash only. And I don't do the dishes. So like he has to do them. Yes, they're hand wash only. So
I mean, I don't have a dishwasher, so that hasn't been an issue for me, but I did not know
it's
that.
Neither here nor there for you, but yeah. So he hates them because I won't wash them, and so he has to. But they bring me joy, and that's what marriage is about. It's about sacrifices, okay? So anyway, I'm inspired by this TikTok. I go on Anthropology. I'm looking. I see the croissant glasses. I'm like, Anthony, look with me. I'm like, oh, look how cute the croissant glasses are. And I'm like making myself LOL, my croissant. And I'm just like, I love it. And Anthony's like, stay right here. And he runs in the other room. And he's like, don't look at any more glasses without me. So I'm still in the croissant. And he comes back in with 2 croissant juice glasses for me that he had gotten for my birthday. And we often say, like, when we can read each other's minds, we call it a Ben Affleck moment. Because one time, I don't even remember what it was. And I don't think he remembers either. But we were, like, hanging out. It was probably like our first year of dating.
I just realized my brown noise machine was on this whole time. Sorry,
oh, great. We have to re-record the entire episode.
I just turned it off. That's
why you're falling asleep. That's why you were literally falling asleep in front of my eyes.
Guys, I found out I love brown noise.
Brown noise is really good for sleep.
It's also, I mean, I only use it sometimes when some people are here. But it's a game changer.
Well, because it is.
It's not like I'm playing like thunderstorm sounds that could bother other people. It's just like, isn't that interesting how people think about what could bother other people?
It is interesting. It's the same argument I'm having for chewing. Like, hello. Anyway, we have this moment where we were like both thinking of something. I don't even know what it was. I think we were like, I don't know what it was, but I was like, I'm thinking it in my head. And he was like, Ben Affleck. And I was like, yes. And I don't remember what we were thinking. And so now anytime we have that, we're like Ben Affleck. We're having a Ben Affleck moment. That's why no one wants to play catchphrase with us or monikers. Because like, we'll Ben Affleck the fuck out of that game. So anyway, he was like, was this a Ben Affleck moment? I was like, yeah, thanks. But another funny moment is I walked in the room the other night to Anthony on TikTok. And he's like, ugh. And I was like, what? What's wrong? And he's like, none of those videos are putting an Aries girl with a Virgo guy. He's like, every time I see one of these videos, I look for it, and I've only found 2. I saved them.
Thank God he's a Virgo.
He goes, I saved them. And he has the 2 videos where it's put an Aries girl and a Virgo guy as them saved together. He's like, look. But it's like never. It's never Aries girl and Virgo guy. He's like, looks through all of those. You know the videos I'm talking about, right?
Yes. Yeah, he probably looks at the initial ones
too. He does. He does. How funny is that though? I like walk in to find him like all frustrated, but it's like that's true love. Okay, that's true love. It's that's just so sweet. Cute. Okay, you wrote barefoot epidemic. I forgot how to read for a second. Let's talk about the barefoot epidemic.
Guys, at my gym.
No way. Wait, I didn't think you were gonna say that word.
Yeah, can you believe it? Can you even believe it?
People are barefoot at the gym.
Well, I texted you that one when it started.
Yeah, you did. First noticed, yeah.
There's a communal punching bag at our gym, and this man kicks
not
barefoot.
me thinking. Yeah. When you're like, there's a communal punching bag, I was like, there's one guy everyone fucking hates, and everyone's like, yeah, fuck Greg. Like, they're like, Greg's barefoot again. We fucking hate that guy. Like, he's just the communal punching bag for everyone who goes to the gym. It's like everyone just agrees. We fucking hate that guy.
Tomorrow.
Well, it's the guy that shows up barefoot. Just so we're all clear.
You guys hate him.
If you want to know who the communal punching bag at your gym is, it's the guy who shows up barefoot.
Well, now it's hard to determine who that might be because
he said a trend.
Is that a trend? And I am just like, sorry. If you take your fitness so seriously that you need to be flat-footed when you like deadlift, you don't get to be barefoot here. You need to either, if you're taking it so seriously that you need to be barefoot to feel like you're doing it correctly, you need to invest in a home gym or pay more to go to a different gym where that is allowed. Because and it's not even like, I mean, I'm wearing shoes, so it's not like I'm worried about like diseases. But when I think about the punching bag specifically,
yeah, well,
I am like,
hands are
if
also
you're putting your exactly, and then you're touching your face, and then everybody's touching the same equipment. And I'm sorry, I don't trust. Number one, I know not everybody's wiping down their machines, and when you do, I don't believe that it's thorough. So like, you could be spreading illnesses and diseases across this entire. There's a measles epidemic in the country. Okay,
have you not? Okay,
and nobody's doing anything about it. They're making a point of it.
They're like, and we're just gonna see how it goes. Okay, what if we just saw how measles went this time?
They're like, have you ever heard that pain is weakness leaving the body?
Have you ever heard of Darwinism? Okay, like we're just bringing it back.
Literally, make America healthy again.
Like, okay, I mean, yes. Oh my God.
Anyway, so yeah, and then I just started like noticing that like guys are, and it's all men, of course, all men. I've never seen a woman barefoot in the gym.
Well, because women have
sense. They're walking around the gym barefoot or with socks on, which is still bad. And I'm just like, are you serious?
Well,
first of all, I don't want to see it. And I did think that maybe I was giving not that I like that he's using the communal punching bag barefoot, but I was giving him the benefit of the doubt that he was only doing that. And then I saw him doing fucking burpees and doing on our turf across the turf.
Dude, it's reminding me of that guy on Southern Hospitality who like did the running club barefoot. And I was like, grow up. And he was like, well, it makes me feel more in touch with nature. And I'm like,
that was my character.
That was your character. Oh my God, Phoebe, that's horrible. You have to find a new gym. You're going to get warts. You know, that's the whole thing with like dance studios is like in a dance studio, like everyone has warts on their feet because everyone's fucking barefoot dancing.
My work, it's like free on my work.
Oh, that's so nice.
I have like a gym pass.
That is so nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
So.
Well, okay.
And it is a nice gym. That's the only thing that's bad about it. I love everything else about it.
That is, I mean, but that's a pretty big, pretty big bummer. But it's okay. I think.
Yeah.
You know, and in worst case scenario, Phoebe, you just have to bring out your inner tyrant and let them know who's boss. Like, okay. Okay.
Right.
Just ask if you can have the aux to the whole gym and play this part of our podcast loud. No one has to know it's you unless you want to lip sync. And I don't care if you're you or me.
One time I was watching one of our reels that's video now of us.
Do you guys like them?
You like sent it and I was watching it at the gym and I was like, oh my God, everybody can see that I'm watching a video of myself right now. Everybody can see.
Everybody knows. It fucks you. Do you guys like my reels, by the way? They're not mine, they're ours. Do you like the reels though?
Caroline makes them though.
I'm making them, but
I'm very impressed by the footage that you include in them.
Really?
Yeah.
Like what footage?
That's like what I would have envisioned for like a podcast reel. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
The way that you like the way you include like the stuff from the show.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm really trying. I just realized, I didn't realize we're working with an amazing team. And they helped us realize that when people come to our pages, it's good for them to know we're a podcast. Not just like a meme page. But like the memes are what get people to the page. So like it's a mix. But anyway, we're putting out those reels. You guys know we've struggled with like, do we do video at all? Do we want to die when we do that? So just if you could just show them love. If a reel comes across your desk from us, just give it a little love, okay? Because we're finding our footing. One more thing I want to say is that on Friday or over the weekend, we released our girls pilot recap for Honorary Connell Sisters on the Patreon. And I think it was a very fun episode. I think it was really, really funny. And I've been watching Girls all weekend now, like much to my own chagrin. And I'm sorry, it's so funny. And I didn't know CC Drake is in it. I just sent you a photo of Lena Dunham and CC Drake.
That. I thought maybe it was just like a background picture.
Well, at first I thought that too, and I was like, that's funny. Yeah, she's an actual character, and she's hilarious. The whole thing is Hannah goes back to her parents' house. in Michigan, and she like meets up with Cece, who's still there, and she's about to like move to Hollywood to go be a dancer, and Hannah's like, that's great, like that's awesome, and she's like, yeah, and you know, like you really don't know what you don't know until you know it, so I'm not worried about it. And she's gonna go to Hollywood with like no plan, and they're doing this benefit because one of their friends from high school like went missing. So they throw this benefit for her parents because they want to hire a private investigator, and the benefit is Cece Drake dancing to "Pretty Girl Rock" by Carrie Hilson because the girl who went missing, her name is Carrie. And
like, how do you come up with
and
this?
then Hannah is like on a date with the pharmacist in the town, and they go to the benefit together as part of the date. And then afterwards they're talking, and Hannah's just like, I mean, I'm sorry, did you know that like that was really weird, and like did you know that Cece Drake is going to Hollywood to be a dancer? And the pharmacist is like, that's cool. And she's like, no, it isn't. No, it's not cool. Did you just watch that? She's really bad. Like somebody needs to tell her she cannot go to Hollywood. And he's like, I'm sure it'll be fine. She's like, no, I'm telling you, it's not gonna be fine. She needs a real job. And he's like, well, what's your real job? She's like, I'm a writer. He's like, that's how you make money. She goes, I don't have any money. It's just,
and it makes me so excited for Rachel Sennett's show.
Oh my god, I feel like it's gonna be a similar vibe.
She's gonna write in such a smart way.
Yes, and oh my god, wait, are you gonna keep watching Girls though?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just haven't literally had any time.
I think it's the second episode. Andrew Rannells is in it. You know Andrew Rannells, right? She's talking. Okay, I have to spoil something for you. Sorry. Hannah gets HPV. Okay, she goes and gets tested.
Well, you already spoiled that for me.
Oh, sorry.
You texted me that yesterday.
Okay, she's like really, really scared of getting AIDS. It's like Hannah's biggest fear is that she's gonna get AIDS, and so she like goes and gets an STD test when Jess is having her abortion, and she's like, they're like, you have HPV, and she's freaking out. She's like so upset. Adam Driver is like, well, I did not give it to you. I got tested. I don't have that. And she's like, oh my God, it had to be Elijah, my ex, because I've only had sex with 2.5 men. And so it has to be Elijah. And so Marnie's like, you have to tell Elijah, like you need to go. Or it's Shoshana. Shauna's like, you have to tell Elijah. And Hannah's like, I'm just scared to like see him in person because if I see him in person, like I'm just nervous we're going to have sex. And Shoshana's like, I mean, you just can't have sex like with them. But if you both have HPV, who really
something
cares?
tells me that the conversation lead in being I have HPV would maybe
actually, that. Phoebe, you couldn't even guess how much better. No, it's even better because Andrew Rannells, they're sitting there. Andrew Rannells is Elijah, the ex, and they're talking. And Hannah's like, and I have to tell you something. That's why I brought you here. Like I just heard about this. And Elijah's like, oh my God, okay, it's true. And she's like, you have HPV. He goes, wait, what? No, I'm gay. And he's gay. And she's like, wait, what? And they dated in college and he's obviously gay. And she's like, wait, that is not what I was going to say. Like, I did not know you're gay. And she's so upset.
And now I'm pissed.
Meanwhile, she's going there like, if I see him, like, we're just definitely going to have sex. And like, he's fully gay. And then he goes, and your dad's gay too, by the way. And she's like, what? And he goes, he has a stud. And he brought up the earring that Phoebe was like, okay, did you notice the dad has a stud? Like, what's going on there? We talked all about it. So anyway, the show is just written so well. It's just so good. So everyone should, I don't want to say everyone should watch it, but everyone should go listen to our pilot recap of the first episode on Patreon. Because
I think we can say everybody should go watch. I feel like there's so much young talent in that show.
Yeah, it's really good.
People that have, I think, yeah.
I'm really enjoying watching it.
There's that Girls Rewatch podcast.
Oh, yeah.
It's people
anyway,
love it.
I mean, they're listening to our podcast right now, so we're not going to tell them to go listen to another one. But yeah. Anyway, okay, so let's get into some reality TV, yeah? Southern Charm Reunion Part 1. How do we feel?
Well, I'm not entirely there. I watched a little bit of it.
Okay.
I am still catching up on the back couple episodes. It was a short season, I realized.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. It normally there's like 20 episodes.
Interesting.
It was still in the teens. Anyway, I can't believe that Madison kept her pregnancy from all of them long enough to like be showing.
I know.
And then to reveal it there.
Austin's reaction. He was like, wait, sweet. What? Like, but it's just like, no, it really is sweet. And then I don't know if you saw the Watch What Happens post reunion. I'm guessing you didn't see it. So it's kind of fun because it's Shep, Craig, and Austin, which is just like to have the three of them together.
Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah, like they are just.
I was thinking of the Three Stooges. I was thinking of the Three Stooges and could not think of their names, so I said Dumb and Dumber.
You know what? Either one works.
Well, there's only two in.
I know,
Dumb
but
and
we can add one.
I've never seen the film.
That's fine.
Can I confess something?
You just
I'm
did.
not a huge Jim Carrey fan.
Oh, that's kind of.
I love Jim Carrey.
What about The Mask?
Culture. I do like that movie. But
what about Bruce Almighty?
No, it doesn't do it for me. I don't
used
really
to
like him.
Love Bruce Almighty, and that's how I learned how to
like
spell
that kind of
beautiful.
humor.
He would step outside and say, "What a beautiful day," and that's how I learned
That's
how to
giving
spell it.
G Daddy.
I
I don't know. I just don't love. I don't love like body humor either. Like the face, it just doesn't do it for me. Anyway, yeah, that is their vibe. Is the Three Stooges?
Yes. So they're on there, but Austin said they had to go through each of their rose and thorn for the season, and Austin's rose was his relationship with Madison, which is just really sweet.
I think it's really sweet. I really like where they are right now. I think that this whole group is learning a lot about friendship.
Yes.
The men are learning a lot about friendship from the women in their lives.
Yes.
I texted Caroline about this yesterday because I was watching the episode after Craig and Austin's conversation, where Craig is talking to Paige about everything. And I do love the way that they edit it so that you can see that Craig and Austin still aren't on the same page, but they're talking like they are. But I realized, like, and it sucks because this is what Paige said. She was like, I get guys ready for their marriage. Like, I am like the girl before they, but I changed them in all these ways. Yeah. Change is the wrong word, but I help them grow in all these ways and prepare them for their marriage.
Yeah.
And I think I noticed when he was talking about everything, like she was like, Austin responded to you finally the way that a friend should have always responded.
Yeah.
And it's like he now has a different perspective on friendship because this friend group is so incestuous and such an echo chamber for each other that they've lost sight of what friendship really is.
Right.
And like, I think the street is a little two ways here with Austin and Craig, obviously, and even just when it comes to the drinking. It's like, Craig, I understand that you're not drinking, but that doesn't mean that you can't go hang out with Austin.
Yeah.
But also, Austin, maybe take note that Craig is adjusting his behaviors as a 30-year-old, older than 30. You have a friendship with an older than 30 person.
Yeah.
Like, maybe be in tune to that.
Yeah.
But I do think it's like, Craig, there needed to be more give and take there. It wasn't like you were, I don't know. Anyway, I just think, all that to say, Paige helped him see what a friendship actually should look like to normal people, and I think that is very easy for Shep, Austin, and Craig specifically to lose sight of that.
Yeah. And I think you're right. Craig said some interesting stuff on the reunion and Watch What Happens about the ring that he supposedly bought for Paige, and I'm just like not buying it. So he says,
I am so fucking in the like. And I'm totally back to where I was before he was dating Paige. He is a liar.
Yeah.
He is a liar. And I actually was getting like upset while I was making lunch yesterday, thinking about him being on Watch What Happens, saying, well, I've never actually lied on the show. I've never actually told a lie.
It's a crazy thing to say. It's a crazy thing to say.
When you were telling your parents, we watched you tell your parents and all your friends that you graduated law school when you didn't.
Yeah. It was a complete lie, dude. I'm a little bit just like, I honestly have the major ick for Craig right now. And I had it before he was dating Paige. I had it when he started dating Paige. I lost it a little bit as we went on, and now I have it again. And he says, like, she said, buy me a ring, and I did. And I bought her this ring. And then we see like this in the preview I think it's like the mid-season trailer for Summer House, Paige says to Lindsay and Amanda that Craig was like, oh, I really wish you didn't break up with me before you saw the ring, as if the ring would change anything. But it also just feels like this like manipulation tactic. So he's talking about the ring, on the reunion on Watch What Happens, Andy's like, so what's the deal with the ring? Like, what did you do with it? He says he returned it to the guy this morning. He's on Watch What Happens. He says, I returned it this morning. And Austin's like, you didn't tell me that. Like, that's like a big deal. I wish you would have I would have gone with you, like this whole thing. And then Craig is like, well, diamonds are down right now. So the guy was like, could I just hold it for a little bit? Because like I need diamonds. And I was like, well, I don't have any use for it. So you can just have it. So I'm like, I don't know. I just don't really believe that. I want to see the ring. Show me the ring. If there was a ring, I want to see it.
And you returned it. It's not like you're going to use it for someone else.
Yeah.
So like,
which he is allegedly dating somebody else.
Jimmy Buffett's heir.
Wait, is that who that is? Wait, what's her name again?
Mm-hmm.
Hannah? No.
Something, Nicole. I think it starts with an N. Natalie?
I'll look it up. It's Buffett, though. I thought it was pronounced buffet.
But I also thought it was interesting on the reunion.
Natalie Buffett, yeah.
When they're talking about the breakup and when Austin and Shep found out about it. And I'm like, Craig, that is shitty.
Yeah.
I know it's your breakup, but the fact that Shep found out through Rodrigo, who found out through the tabloids, is crazy.
I also think it's
Austin
crazy.
Was like, Austin's story was also really weird.
Austin and Craig were on a trip together. They were actually on a trip together, and Craig hadn't told him, and then finally told him when they were on the trip. I mean, there's a part of me that's like, I understand. I feel like a few things were happening here, and Craig admits to this on Watch What Happens. He's like, because I think someone says like, oh, the signs were there, like, and Craig's like, I mean, I obviously was living in my own delusional world where I thought everything was great. Like, so for me, like, I was surprised.
I'm
because
glad he can say
thought
that now.
everything was great. Like, so that's
because he said that on the reunion too. He was like, well, he didn't say that, but he said kind of more along the lines of what he's been saying, which has been like making people be like, what?
Right.
Because he was like, I was going off of what she was doing off
and
camera.
Private.
And it's like,
we can't contest
corroborate
that. Exactly.
So it's like, I guess, but we are seeing, I would be, if the person I was dating was acting one way off camera, someone who does reality TV.
Yeah.
Acting like super lovey, and then the camera's turned on, and it was like a different person, like you don't want to be in this relationship, which is the vibe that Paige is giving.
Because wouldn't you feel like it would be the opposite? Like she would turn it on for the cameras and then be like, I don't want to be with you when the cameras aren't rolling.
Except for, I bet Craig was able to get into a headspace of like, well, Paige's character on Bravo is kind of nonchalant and like monotone and chill girl who's like hates men. That's
and like the reality is like Craig or Paige said this in a confessional for Summer House. She was like, the reality is I am a totally different person than I was when I started dating Craig. And I do kind of feel bad for Craig because like this isn't really what he signed up for. I'm different now. Like I want different things than I wanted. And I think maybe he was just clinging to the things that she said in the beginning and like wasn't, you know, it's easy, especially when you're long distance, out of sight, out of mind. Like he could think what he wanted to think. She could think what she wanted to think. They could sort of prolong this if they wanted to, but he said you know, he was living in his own sort of little delusion, and so he didn't like realize things were really bad. I could see a few things happening with the boys where like he really hoped it wasn't real, and I think that's part of why he also didn't, because Andy was like, well, Craig, you lied to me. Like when you were here on Watch What Happens, you lied to me. You told me you guys were still together, like, and you weren't. You were broken up. And Craig's like, honestly, like I went to her apartment when I left here and like talked to her, and I thought we were like, I didn't think it was a real thing. Like, and so I can see that because when you're in a relationship with somebody for so long, like how do you just, it's not just like a one conversation breakup all the time. I could see that. I could also see how his friends have not been very supportive of this relationship. And so to have to go, you know, tail between your legs and tell them you were right fucking sucks. And I could see especially somebody like Craig, who we know doesn't like to admit he was wrong, is very stubborn, like whatever. I could see him not wanting to have that conversation with them. Now, I think that makes him a bad friend, but I can understand how he got there. I can.
Right.
I do think, though, that like he needs to mature in the sense he's still not really telling the truth. Like I feel for him, honestly. I really do, because we all know like that feeling of you getting broken up with and you're just like, this can't be real, right? Like, right? Because I thought this was it. Like, I've been planning for this to be the rest of my life. It's been 3 years. I'm certain there's going to be more of a conversation. And I think Paige just already grieved it, you know, she was already done with the relationship when she broke up with him, so she didn't need the follow-up conversations.
What's that
did.
lyric in Ariana's song? In the new Ariana song, there's a lyric about that.
I grieved it, and you realize you needed me once it was too late, or like whatever.
Yeah,
she says like.
But it's the same exact thing, and I am a little bit.
And so now she's the bad guy because
I am still a little bit like, girl.
Still is not.
We still have other things to answer for.
Yes, for sure. Anyway, okay, so Southern Charm. A couple other things I wanted to speak about. Vanita and JT. I'm just like,
I'm tired of JT.
I'm just so tired of JT. I'm so tired of Jarrett.
Smug.
He's so. He gives me the ick in a major fucking way. And I'm sorry, the fact that he confirmed made out with Vanita when you had this girlfriend the whole time. And him just like, I'm sorry, the fact that this girlfriend is messaging Vanita, calling her a rat and saying these things, and Jarrett will not stand up for Vanita. When he put Vanita in this situation, he's saying she knew the entire season. I don't know. I don't really take Vanita for a liar, but who knows? It is interesting.
Either.
Vanita's like, oh my God, you didn't watch What Happened, so you didn't see this. So Vanita said she's Team Paige in the breakup. And Craig said, I'm done with Vanita. I won't speak to her anymore. I don't need people like that in my life. Like, he's like, as far as I'm concerned, like, she and I aren't friends. Like, we don't have a relationship. He's like done. He's written Vanita off.
He's a little brat. He is a brat. He's always been a brat. And like, I get it. I understand where he's coming from, I guess.
Oh my God. He also said, he was talking about how the Summer House cast has been talking about him. And he's like, these are like my friends. Like, he was like, Sierra, one of my best friends. Amanda, Kyle, like, those were my friends. And it's like, now I'm not dating Paige anymore. And the vitriol and like the hate that they're spewing is honestly disgusting. And he says the word disgusting. And he says, and I would advise everybody in America to not act like that. And Andy goes, "Oh, everyone in America." But I mean, like, I do agree though. Like, the Summer House cast is like going in on Craig.
Like, I just think I get it. I get it because everybody was immediately sorry for Craig, and it's like Paige needed people to rally behind her, and I don't think that Paige was flawless. I don't think that she was perfect in this breakup, but I also think Craig has a lot to answer for too, and he is in this victim mentality of everybody needs to be on my side because she broke up with me. And we were together for 3 years, and I thought I was gonna marry her, and it's like, that's not necessarily true. He keeps being like, I'm not talking about this. Like, I'm trying to move on with my life. I'm not like speaking about this.
I don't think you are. She won't stop talking about it. I'm not speaking about it. Blah, blah, blah. Like, it's just this whole thing.
What has she said, really?
I don't know. I think he's just referring to her like liking everything. I mean, like, the fact of the matter is, you think she's talking about it because Summer House is currently airing. So like, you know, it's all in the tabloids as though it's happening now and whatever. All right. Let's merge north. Let's go to Summer House. Let's discuss we've been talking about the downfall of Jesse Solomon for a while, and here we are again still talking about it.
I think he's worse than Wes.
Oh my God.
I think he is an emotional terrorist. He is evil.
He's just such a fuckboy, like, and stop trying to pretend that you're not.
I couldn't believe it. And also, I was disgusted watching West and Jesse react to the mid-season trailer. They were watching it, and Lexi says something in the trailer, and Jesse leans over to West and goes, "That's a lie."
Like, I'm sorry. Shut the fuck up.
You're such an asshole.
Here's the deal, guys. Okay. Jesse Solomon is a certified shit stirrer, and here's why. Okay? He is the one. First of all, you're a newbie. You need to act as such. You need to pay your dues and show a little bit of deference. Okay, Jesse? Him coming into the table and being like, so, Kyle, Craig, are we good? That's not your place to bring that up. Him bringing things up to Carl and Lindsay. That's not your place. Him then going to West and Sierra. I understand West and Sierra were your best friends. You wanted to be the three musketeers this summer. Life happens. That's just not how it's going to go anymore.
And it's your friend's fault.
And it's your friend's fault. It's not Sierra's fault.
Sierra to fix it.
It's not her. It is not my job to fix what you broke. Like, that is what it really, really fucking is.
I think that Jesse, this is what I determined with Mimi last night. Jesse is in love with Sierra and is angry about it because he knows two things. One, he can't do anything about it, and he's frustrated by that because of West. But also, I think deep down he knows that if he did do something about it, Sierra wouldn't be interested. And I think that kills him.
Yeah.
And so he is like, he's projecting all of this other stuff onto her and onto everything. And I also think he's making the situation with West and Sierra worse.
Yeah. 100%. No, Phoebe. This is what I'm like all about right now.
They could just be chill. They
were being chill before you had this conversation with Sierra.
And now they both think there's a problem that doesn't really exist.
Exactly. Jesse going to Sierra and saying, I mean, this I couldn't believe my eyes, couldn't believe my ears. When Jesse's talking, somehow the word like overcommitting comes up in the conversation. And Jesse goes, oh, sort of like you did with my friend. They were talking about
the costumes.
Okay,
so it was a lighthearted thing. I overcommit.
And this is how you're gonna. This is yeah, okay. And he goes, oh yeah, sort of like you overcommitted to my friend. She's like, what are you talking about? And he's like, well, yeah, I think you kind of. She's like, you mean West? And he's like, yeah, I think you like overcommitted to him. Like, when are you just gonna move on? So that's not the way to bring that up. Is the first thing. Then automatically you put Sierra on the defense. She's feeling a little bit embarrassed. West embarrassed her. Females don't like to be embarrassed, okay? And especially somebody who is as guarded as Sierra.
Sierra has made it clear that she is very selective about who she opens up to emotionally. And if I have to hear West say one more time, I don't know why this phrase that West says about the Sierra thing irks me so much, but this, out of everything he does, this really pisses me off, is when he says, just because I decided I didn't want to date you.
Because it's so,
it makes me irate.
It makes it sound like it was only his decision. It makes it sound like he is somehow above her. Like, West, you were so lucky she even looked in your direction. Like, you are the only reason people give you the time of day, West.
When they showed the footage from last summer, I was like, he was so cute last
that's what I'm saying is, West, the only reason
and now he's not as like cute this summer, I don't think.
The only reason girls give you the time of day is because you're funny and because now you're on television. Like, that is why. And he knows that. He said it. He said that's why he didn't want to date Sierra, because he wanted to keep his options fucking open. Like, you little shitbag. It's classic. I didn't have options before, now I do. But back to Jesse Solomon. Him saying all that to Sierra is a massive problem. Then Sierra's like, well, I mean, yeah, like, I think it's just going to be what it is. It's going to happen naturally. Like, she didn't say like, fuck West, I fucking hate it. She didn't say all that. Jesse goes back to West and says, oh yeah, like that. Sorry, you guys are not going to be friends. That's not going to happen. She said you fucking used her. Like, fuck you. And so then West goes to Amanda, who, by the way, sorry, Amanda, I've been saying this about you. I think you're not that good of a friend.
She's not that great of a friend.
Because she is like, yeah, West, Sierra is over. Like, she's totally like feeding into West bullshit.
She keeps her hands in both pots.
I hate that. I hate it. She did it with Hannah and Paige. And ultimately, like, we saw how that ended. I think it's just like, I don't know. Amanda doesn't have much of a backbone, but that's fine. I just the Jesse thing. And then so let's get it. I think yes, he's in love with Sierra. I think he also knows it's safe. He can flirt with Sierra. He can talk about how hot she is. He never has to actually get involved with her and have the feelings and like experience her the way that West did, because he's got Lexi, because he's got West, because he knows Sierra's not dating anybody else in this on TV. Like, all of these things he knows, so he knows that it's safe to act like this with Sierra, because he never actually has to follow through and like show her that he loves her. You know what I mean, right? He can be like, oh, I'd worship you, but he never actually has to follow through and do that, which is a great place for a boy like him to be in. Amber and I came up with this theory, okay, about what happened with Jesse Solomon in that room. So Imrul, who I'm disgusted by, brings back 2 girls to the house to have sex with. So he's having a threesome. Jesse Solomon goes, I'm going to go see what's going on in Imrul's room. Hey, that's actually not okay. You can't just walk into a room with 3 naked people unless you were invited or expected to show up there. Amber and I were talking about this. Amber is like, I think when they were all at the bars and there were no cameras out there, Emerald and Jesse made a fucking plan.
Which is like, when did we decide that was what Summer House was? No cameras.
I need cameras the whole weekend. Like, if you're gonna have cameras in the corner of their bedrooms when they are fucking, then I need the cameras in the and the sprinter vans and the bars
that they started having. Like, these parties do not pack the same punch that they used to.
No, they don't. But anyway, so we think that they came up with a plan at the bar that like Jesse was going to come in and it was going to be like Emerald brought both the girls back. But Jesse could still be involved somehow, and Lexi wouldn't have to really know if like they came back with Emerald. They're all coming back to the house at separate times. Jesse goes in just to see what's going on. Goes in, says she sucked his toe, and he was in there for 37 minutes. I'm sorry. I am an almost 30-year-old woman, and I'm telling you right now, I don't know a man who's in a room where a lot of sex is happening, and he's having his toe sucked, and he's hard, as he said on the... We heard it, and I'm hard, and doesn't ejaculate. Sorry, I can't imagine it. So here's what I think happened. I think the girl either sucked his dick, or I think he did it himself while she sucked his toe, because then he could leave the room and say, no, nothing happened. Like, you know what I mean? But why else are you in there? Also, I'm sorry. If you weren't having sex, if you weren't involved, it's fucking bizarre that you were in that room for 37 minutes. Were you just watching, you fucking weirdo? Like,
yeah, I think it's very bizarre.
And then him and Emerald are like standing 10 toes down. They're not admitting it. I'm like, yeah, they'll take it to the grave.
Which is classic. He sucks. And we should have known that last season when he was like, so when are you going to have sex with my buddy?
I hated that. I'm sorry. Like, it's also none of your business, Jesse. Like, it's none of your fucking business. And the fact that like that just clues Sierra into the fact that West and Jesse are having these conversations.
It's just like that conversation we watched at Girls.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Girls, when Ray says that about Marnie and Charlie.
Yes, 100%.
Marnie and Charlie. Crazy.
Woof. Okay, let's talk about the Temptation Island reunion on Vile Files. Oh my God.
Grant needs to be in a cage.
Grant, I want you locked up for life. Okay, because here's the deal, Grant. First of all, you're not good looking enough to be acting the way you're acting. You keep talking about your daughter. If I were you, I wouldn't want anyone to know I had a daughter, because that's giving me ammunition. You're acting this way. Your daughter one day is gonna see this and be like, my dad's a piece of shit. Like, that's gonna happen.
I always think that Ashley is with Tyler. Like, for a while I would get confused with, I thought Ashley was with Tyler because they look like they would be together more. And I'm like, Ashley, you are distraught over this man.
I know.
That clues you into what an emotional terrorist he is.
I mean, he is actually he's wanted for emotional terrorism.
I hate when anybody, but especially a man, especially this man, like owns up to something, but then still makes themselves the victim, which is what he's a master at. Everything he did, he's like, yeah, well, I cheated, but like then all this other stuff. And it's
here's also I have to say, hey, Nick Viall, what the hell?
He did not step in.
I also thought I trusted you, Nick. I don't know why, but I trusted you to protect my girls over here. You didn't. Here's the thing. Him saying, well, okay, I just want to say that like women and men value things differently. And so like for the women, yeah, the cheating was a massive betrayal, but for the men, you guys talking about them, that was the betrayal. So basically, like, I was like, why are you giving the men this idea? Because now they think it's just as bad. And they're allowed to be just as mad as the girls are about the physical cheating. And I'm sorry, also, they went on this show. Some of these couples did set boundaries, but guess what? Talking about the relationship wasn't one of them. They were all physical boundaries. So the girls didn't cross any fucking boundaries and the guys did. So why are we even having this conversation?
The guys were saying stuff about them too, even before the first bonfire. So it's not like the guys were physically cheating and talking badly about their girlfriends.
And a lot of the things that were said about these men happened after a bonfire. So it's after I've seen that I'm pretty sure these guys are going to cheat, or I've seen what they've said about me, or I watched them actually cheating.
That someone has bitch tendencies. Also, Tyler, sorry, you do have bitch tendencies.
Tyler, you're a bitch.
I saw a TikTok from his ex-wife who was like, I didn't like, she was like, I'm in a good place with myself. So like what he said about me is fine. But like he made it about something. He explained their whole relationship and potentially outed someone. She said that that's not what happened, but he didn't know if she was comfortable with that being out there. What if her family didn't know that she stepped out of the marriage in that way?
No, totally.
At that point, there was a sacred trust between you two. You guys were married.
Yep.
And she probably thought that was like safe to not be spoken about on this thing that's going to be watched by a lot of people.
Yeah.
And he didn't care because it made him look, he thought that would make him look like a victim.
And
it's like, well,
these pieces of shit
and
men.
she made it clear. She was like, it wasn't the same kind of cheating that he did because he knew about everything that I was doing. And I got it all cleared with him.
Yeah.
And I spoke to him about it. He didn't do that.
Now,
when he cheated, he just cheated on me.
Right, exactly. I do have one thing with like the Taylor and Tyler relationship. I'm not a huge Taylor fan, to be honest. I got the vibe that Taylor and Tyler, they're like not really dating. Like I get the vibe that they were like, as she said, a situationship. And maybe they had been together when because they were being seen for like a different Netflix show that didn't happen. But when they got called back by Netflix for Temptation Island, my guess is that they were like, well, we're like not together, but what if we just like said that we were? And then we go on the show and then it's like, you know, it doesn't really matter what either of us does because we're not really together. That's the vibe I get. And I kind of feel like Taylor is like, well, I'm going to act like we were together and you're a piece of shit. And Tyler is going to act like, what? We had this whole agreement. That's sort of the vibe that I'm getting. I think the truth is probably somewhere like in between both of their stories, but that doesn't change the fact that Tyler is a total fucking bitch loser. And sorry, you do have bitch tendencies, but Grant, like, what I can't handle is this, like, I don't even like really know where to begin. Just the idea that he's so mad about what people are saying about him and that Ashley's not like standing up for him. And we can see that Ashley, I mean, she's giving battered woman. Like she's there crying. She feels so bad. She's definitely like an empath. She's like, it's hard for me to watch him upset because I feel upset watching him. And it's like, oh my God, the way I just want to free her from this. And him saying that her posting all her TikToks with Danny and Logan is like, I'm like, girl, let her do whatever she fucking wants. Like, I couldn't believe that Nick didn't stand up more and be like, well,
and Natalie.
Yes, but
they did a terrible job.
I thought they did a terrible job.
I had such high hopes for it because Nick is such a
no
bullshit kind of guy.
And that's the thing is, like, Nick is so hard on the people that call into his show. The girls that call in that he doesn't actually have to sit in a room with and like whatever. But then you bring on these guys. It's like, what, do you want to be friends with them? Like, why are you? I don't know. I mean, I get this isn't their domain. They don't do reunions all the time. It's the second one that they've done. And this was a huge get for them. I mean, honestly, I'm sure this is going to like do major things for their podcast. Like, are
they going to move to Nashville?
I could
get
see
them
it.
out of here.
I could actually totally see it.
That's
anyway,
where the reunion was.
I know.
They were all here. Lino's new haircut. Lino, I love him.
Really? I don't.
Yeah.
I'm just like, he's...
Well, I was like bored by him. He like talked for so long. Yeah. And I was like, okay.
Well, then Alexa's like, can I say something? I feel like, I'm sorry. I understand why they went on whatever, or they're engaged now. But I just think if you're in a place where you're going to go on a show like that, then you're not in a place to get engaged. Like, I just don't think those are the same place, but maybe they are, whatever. All right, let's talk about some non-reality TV. Let's talk about Ari, Eternal Sunshine Deluxe.
I haven't watched the film yet because I need to be in the emotional space to do so. I also haven't had time. But I did listen. And of course, it's incredible.
It's so good.
My review is that I could have crashed my car to this.
Oh my God, Dandelion.
That's how I review Ariana songs. Would I have crashed my car to
10 out of 10, yes.
And Dandelion sounds like Thank You Next.
I love how we open, and I knew as soon as like I was like, it just was when
when the horn started, I was like, okay, where's this going?
And then I heard the little, and I was like, oh, she's about to.
I was like, all right, she's about to cook.
And I love, and she's like, I know this sounds unserious, but this is serious. Oh, it's just like she's just so good.
A master.
Twilight Zone, I also love. Is that the one where she goes, oh no, that's Dandelion. I love the part where she goes, I got what you need. I love the got being added in there. I got. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. I love it. I think my least favorite is Hampstead. And honestly, I think Hampstead's written about the fans.
Yeah, I agree. I think when people are trying to make it about Dalton, I don't think so.
No.
I think it's very clearly her a fuck you to the fans.
It's giving, what is the Taylor song that does it?
All of them.
No, the one, no, you can't come to the wedding. Maybe it's that. Maybe it's just Daddy, I love him.
Yeah, because she does say that.
Yeah.
And yes, it is. You're performing your soliloquies that I'll
never see.
Which is so funny. Remember when the fans wrote a letter about why Taylor should break up with Maddie Healy, and they thought that would do
precisely.
Like, what?
Yeah. So I'm gonna read some of the lyrics of Hampstead because we've got yes, I know it seems fucked up, and you're right, but quite frankly, you're still wrong about everything. So far off, your seat's nowhere near the table, but I find something sweet in your peculiar behavior because I think to be so dumb must be nice. Okay, read us for filth, Ari. So what? Then what's happening then?
So then what?
So then what happened?
Because here's my question: there is still a family that was broken up.
So then what?
And I'm not putting the onus on you, Ari.
No,
it's Ethan's fault.
It's Ethan's fault.
But I just am like,
our seat is nowhere near the table.
Well, we do know about it.
I'm like, what do you mean my seat's so far from the table? Are you sure I'm not in the same dining room? Like, are you sure I'm that far away?
All I'm saying is that like Ethan Slater was married before Wiccan started filming and had a kid,
and
now
so
he's
were
not
you,
married.
and so were you, and now neither of you are married, and you are together. I think, but I hear that they broke up. Okay, let's see. You think you've read the book? I'm still writing. I can't imagine wanting so badly to be right. Guess I'm forever on your mind. I wonder why. Do you? Do you wonder why you release shit like this? That makes us like, I want to know. Like, I want to know everything about you, Ari.
You released a song called Hampstead, which is where you met the guy.
Yeah, no, literally. What's wrong with a little bit of poison? No, that's fair.
I just think you're looking at the situation differently than we are.
Yeah, no, I know. Like,
and I just think if it's so different, than what we're all saying, I don't understand why you aren't correcting the rumors. They clearly bother you. You.
Oh my God. Anyway, but it's so good. The film is really, really sweet. I kind of love because I feel like one of the arguments Ariana gets with her tattoos, especially on her hand, is like, what about when you're older? And I'm sure you've seen the photos. Like they have Peaches as a grandmother. You know, she's older and she's got all the tattoos on her hand, and her nails are still done that way. And I'm like, I love that. I actually love seeing that because it's like it's all part of like who she is, and I don't know. So I thought it was really great. We already talked about Chapel and Call Her Daddy. We don't need to really talk more about it. Someone was like, a long time ago, Caroline said she thinks Olivia Rodrigo's a better singer than Sabrina Carpenter. Do you still think that?
Never forget.
No, I know. And I'm not taking it back. That
is crazy.
Okay. Wow. I haven't even like said anything. I just said I'm not taking it back. I don't think I've heard what I would need to hear to know that. Is what it is. I haven't heard any new music from Olivia in a very long time. I think that the music that Olivia sings is vocally harder to sing than the music Sabrina sings. I think that, like I do think that if we're just talking about vocals, Olivia Rodrigo is probably a better vocalist than Sabrina. I think Sabrina's a great vocalist.
I can't believe that.
Well, why?
To me, she sounds like every girl who sings in high school.
But have you heard her like really sing?
Yeah, but have you heard Sabrina like really sing?
Yes, now I have.
When she sings "Hopelessly Devoted," the Sue Me a cappella video.
Yeah, I think we're just talking about different things. It's not. I'm looking at this from like a technical perspective. I do think Olivia Rodrigo like probably is a better singer. Yes. It doesn't mean I think Sabrina's a bad singer. I'm not even pitting you know what you're doing? You're pitting women against each other. I'm not.
No, I'm not. You are. I think Olivia's strengths are elsewhere.
Where?
I think that she's an incredible writer. I think that she has a great ear for melodies, and I think that I do think she's a great singer. But I just think that she's not. I wouldn't put her in the same class of vocalist. She sounds like Taylor Swift or like Gracie Abrams.
Wait, you think okay, then
I think Olivia, she's a better singer than them. But
yeah!
I think that the music that she sings, I think Sabrina Carpenter is a better singer.
Okay, so again, what I'm saying is I haven't heard what I would need to hear, which it sounds like is what you're saying too. Like, I haven't heard what I would need to hear to make that.
Yeah, but
call.
I mean, even like when she performs live, I don't think she sounds very good live.
Okay, but sorry, I'm not talking shit on Sabrina at all. I really like her. But the track Sabrina's singing with is different than the track Olivia's singing with. Like, it just is. Sabrina's got a lot of background vocals on her shit. Olivia, not as much.
But I mean, have you seen the Sue Me acapella video?
I don't know. I have seen so much Sabrina.
I've seen enough.
No, actually,
I've seen enough.
I have seen enough. Like, not in a bad way, but like, I mean, I have seen so much Sabrina Carpenter shit. But the thing is, I would need, honestly, like, not to be like this person, but like to answer that question in a way that I would feel super confident answering it that Phoebe can't yell at me about is like, I would need them both in a room and both to sing like a song to me. Because here, can I see them both on Broadway? Like, that would be different. Like, if you're writing
Sabrina
songs,
did Broadway,
I know she did. I didn't see it. Here's the deal, though. I don't know.
She only got to do like 3 shows.
Yes, because of COVID. But also, I don't know that like she has the vocals to stack up against the Broadway singers. Like, honestly, because technically, if you're doing 8 shows a week, what's required of your voice is different than if you're doing these shows, but you're also singing and doing the costume. Like, I'm not taking away from Sabrina's talent, but she has a lot going on in terms of a pop star performance that's not happening on a Broadway performance. They're just 2 totally different beasts. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I also think when you're singing music that you wrote and you wrote for your specific voice, yeah, you should sound the best possible on it. Like, so I think if they were to do a song swap, we might, like they might sound, I don't know that Sabrina would be able to sing all of Olivia's songs. But Olivia could sing Sabrina's. Do you not agree with that?
I disagree.
You don't agree that Olivia could sing Sabrina's songs?
I think she could. I don't think I would enjoy listening to it.
Well, I'm not asking if you would enjoy it. I'm just saying, like, I don't think Sabrina would be able to sing a lot of Olivia's songs. They're way harder to sing than Sabrina's songs. And that's coming from a singer.
Her.
Hey,
I think you're underestimating her.
I'm just going to say it. I'm just going to pull the card. I am a singer and I teach people how to sing. I'm telling you, all I'm saying, Sabrina's songs are easier to sing than Olivia's. That is true.
That's fine, but she doesn't write her music in the same way that
I know. That's why I'm saying when you're writing songs for your own voice, yeah, like you're going to sound the best you could possibly sound. But if she were to go sing some of Olivia's songs, I think she would need some coaching on them. Like, I don't know that it would be like a turnkey thing. Whereas I do think Olivia could probably do it. She might not sound as good as Sabrina sounds on her own songs, but I don't think she would like have trouble singing them.
But what I'm saying is Sabrina doesn't really write her own songs.
Yeah, but they're written for her voice. So it's the same. It's like the same thing. That's what I'm saying. It's like, if I wrote a song for your voice and you wrote a song for my voice, they would be different songs. And then if I went and sang the one for your voice, it'd probably be easier for me to sing it than it would for you to sing mine.
Yeah.
But I'm also looking at it from like a technical perspective. I'm not looking at it from like, what do I like the sound of better? I'm genuinely saying like but I don't know. They sound totally different. Yeah. Anyway, sorry to start a fight. Okay. You wrote it creates all sorta.
Yes. And this goes right into Severance.
Okay.
And I just came to this realization watching Severance that, man, this would create all sorts of problems.
If Severance existed in this world,
Severance just creates all sorts of problems.
And Phoebe, I think you cracked it. I think you hit the nail on the head with that one.
I think that's kind of what the show is about. It's not a good thing. Severance is not good.
And on the surface, I was talking to Kelly about this because Kelly wasn't really familiar with like the premise of the show, and she watched like an episode, and she was like, "Oh, it's kind of slow." And I was like, I know, but. When I first heard about the show, I was like, oh, I love that idea. I would love to sever myself. So I go to work. I don't remember anything about it. I can just I would love that. But you don't think about all the other things.
You're creating a new person.
You're creating a new person. And I love how they explored in the Severance, spoilers, by the way. I think it was the finale episode, right, where they do the camera and it's Mark.
I thought that was so cool. We see a conversation between the Annie
and the Audi, and that realization that you can't trust yourself and like you can never know yourself or trust yourself fully is just such a and the way that Adam Scott changes his face, like I was amazed. One of the
best acting moments of the season. This isn't Adam Scott, but Britt Lauer when they're at the Ortbo and she's talking to Irv and it's Helena, but we don't know that.
Yeah.
And she's being Helly. She's trying to be Helly. And then Irv says something and the change in her face when she goes from like trying to be soft like Helly would be to the angular, like in a split second she changes every muscle in her face. I was like, give her the Emmy.
No, I know.
It's
such incredible acting like that we see from Gemma, from Helly, from Dylan, from Mark. Like it's
Gemma in this episode when she walks out of there and is Gemma again.
Oh my God.
Oh
my God. No, it isn't. I saw some people saying like, I don't know how you don't think this is the love story. Like, how do you not think this is the love story? Because I'm sorry.
Helly and Mark can't have
one. They can never have one. They can't have one.
It was sweet when Mark wasn't trying to reintegrate and when we didn't think Gemma was alive. It was, it could be something else.
But you're not. Like, what are you gonna do? Like when they're running away, I'm like, I love the shot. It's a great shot, but like you're stuck on the severed floor. What kind of life can you have? Like this,
and you just killed someone,
and you killed someone.
They're coming for you.
I feel like I'm just gonna watch them do Maze Runner in here, like in these white walls for like another season.
We're gonna get the way that season 1 started with Adam Scott running through the halls. Is how season 3 is gonna start with them running through the halls together.
I heard someone say they were like, I kind of feel like there shouldn't be another season. They were like, I love the way this ends with them running in this shot of just like, leave it up to us to imagine, because we know that the truth is that like, it's not, I mean, where do we go from here? And I was kind of like, I mean, I'm glad there is going to be another season, but that I do see the point in that. Like it would kind of be a neat way to end it. But
I need what is happening to Gemma. She's getting right back down to that severed floor.
I'm so nervous about Gemma. And the actress was saying that like normally she can kind of turn it on and off when they're filming, but for that she was like, I couldn't stop crying that day. Like even when the camera started, it was just so sad. I was just like,
and it's like, and the fact that now like Audi Mark isn't existing right now. So it's like the last thing that he remembers, Audi Mark, is like he thinks he's gonna get to be with his wife again.
Yes.
And it was like the way that they rope everything and it's true. I mean, I love that they were able to create the show in a way where now that we see the grander scale of what it's actually about, and it's like we are constantly running from hard things and pain, and like being able to showcase that when the absence of pain is a bad thing.
Yes.
Like that is ultimately going to create way more pain and way more problems for people. And we can't just keep it's all about
it's all about compartmentalizing. Absolutely. And I think that there's also like a really I just lost my train of thought. What was I just gonna say? I really liked the exploration this season of like the physicality and the intimacy, because it's also like humans, like we have urges and desire, like that's in us, you know. And so it's like
it's not like the innate can just shut off humanity.
So you put them down there, they might fall in love, and it's like imagine as a woman, like being like your Audi realizes you're pregnant.
Well, that was that story on the first season
on the news. And it's like, or what if you get like a fucking STD and it also brings in so many ideas of consent. Like, did you consent to that? I mean, like,
I know that we're not getting, because Helena's in love with Mark, but it's also interesting because obviously as the woman,
do you think Helena's in love
added layers?
Or Helly?
Both of them.
I was just asking what you think if Helena is.
I think Helena's in love with Mark, and I think that she's so lonely, and I think that's part of why she probably went down there. I think she's had a crush on Mark for a while, and she's probably like impressed by the work that Mark is doing. Whatever. Anyway, I think that that's also interesting to think of. Like, obviously, for a woman, there are added layers, but I think also looking at like the dynamic of Helena, the Audi, also like knowing what Helly is doing.
Yeah.
And like being with Mark, and then knowing who Mark is, but Mark doesn't know who she is really. Like I just think it's like
it's so sinister.
Yeah, it's like it's crazy. I also think, I mean, the show does such a brilliant job of it's touching on so many things, but it doesn't feel like it's like, well, do you really have to tackle every like hot button issue? Because we're also getting the layers of Milchick's storyline and how that's intersecting with Natalie and how race is playing a factor in all of that. But it's not coming across as like, well, they wanted to add all of these storylines and check all these boxes. That's not how it comes across. It's also just sort of like, well,
it's a microcosm for real life too. Like it's like the severed floor. You can sever it, but you can't escape all of these different things: genders, sexuality, race. Like all of those things are still going to come into play here, and I also think it's interesting. We're exploring the thing with Dylan G, where his outie, your outie is punishing your innie.
Yeah,
I guess we explored that a little bit with Helly in the first season, and your innie punishing your outie, and vice versa. Right. But with Dylan, it's like Dylan G is like outie Dylan's slave, and a lot of like he's like, no, you don't get to get out of this because you did this with my wife, my wife,
exactly.
It's like. It's fascinating.
It really is.
I'm so glad we won't have to wait as long
for a new season. Yeah, it's going to be so good. You wrote Pink X Freaky Friday.
Yes. I was listening to God is a DJ by Pink. And I was like, wait. Lindsay Lohan in Freaky Friday grows up to be Pink singing God is a DJ. And I don't know really where that came from, but I do think that I've always thought that character really reminds me of Pink.
Really?
Yeah. And that's the kind of Pink music that she would make.
Okay. I mean, God is a DJ is, and you found the through line there, because God is a DJ is famously played in Mean Girls, which
yes,
Lindsay Lohan is in.
Yes.
I love that song. It's so good.
It's so fire.
Pink is so great. I've never thought of it.
Talk about a vocalist.
I mean, talk about a vocalist.
And talk about an acrobat.
Talk about a master of her craft. Okay, well, I'll give it some more thought, but I like where your head's at. I like where your head's at for sure. And then you also wrote Starstruck.
Okay, this is also important.
Okay.
Starstruck by Lady Gaga is one of my favorite songs right now. Starstruck.
I've been listening to it nonstop. Cherry, 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 boom, boom.
It's because I had a realization. I wrote it down because I had a realization that this song could have, if Lady Gaga weren't the artist that she were, and she just like wrote songs, this song would have come across Sheena Shea's desk.
Oh,
this sounds like Sheena. This doesn't sound like Good as Gold, but you know in the first couple episodes of Vanderpump ever, when she's recording that song in the studio.
Yes.
Sounds like Starstruck, and the way that Lady Gaga sings in the verses sounds like how Sheena sings.
Okay, Lady Gaga in the club on the weekend, like all that.
Yes,
yeah, I know she does.
Exactly.
I need a collab between Gaga and Sheena. I need Starstruck, or honestly, I like in my mind, Love Game is such a Sheena song. Sheena would have a blast saying, "Let's have some fun this beat a stick. I want to take a ride on your disco stick," in her real life and in the freaking recording studio. She would love it. Yes. And I want Steph and Sheen to get in
their buds.
You guys are buds. You love each other. You have photos together. That's the telltale sign that you're buds. And so we want you in the studio together doing a remix of Starstruck and Love Game.
Haley and Selena have pictures together.
Well, I was thinking, by the way, that when we, in the future, there are changes to our podcast and blah, 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 blah.
We should do a deep
that would
dive
be
on
a good episode to do, is like really getting into the Haley and Selena thing and like really diving in. Okay, just a few other things I want to talk about. Have you seen that JoJo Siwa is selling $900 VIP tickets to her tour?
No.
People are like really mad about it. They're like, this is crazy. So she was asked about it on the carpet. Okay. And I think
in her fit,
of course. I think it's a pretty interesting concept though. And I am like, well, then why are they only $900? Because
what did she say?
Okay. So these $900 tickets get you basically access to hang out at the venue all day. So you're there for sound check. You're there for setup. You can help them set up if you want. You can be involved. JoJo's like, we'll probably order pizza. Like if you want pizza, have some pizza with us. You hang out with us. You get a piece of memorabilia that like I wore at that show. You get obviously like the meet and greet, like that kind of the pictures, the VIP experience. You get to help me choose the show. So like she has different, like I guess not surprise songs, but that sort of a thing. Like
there are different things in every show that like those people get to choose for that show. So you like get a part in basically creating the show with JoJo Siwa with her, and only 4 of these tickets are sold per show. So it's like she was like, this is for like the ultimate super fan who would like want to be there all day with us, setting up, doing sound check, having lunch, choosing the show, doing like everything. And people were really actually excited about her explanation. They were like, well, now that you've explained it, I think this is actually a really neat idea. This would be really cool for like people to do. And I do kind of think like that is, I mean, I would never do
especially
that. But like
at that level of fame, like she's famous enough that it wouldn't be a problem to do something like that.
Exactly. And I'm like, she's like, it's not this like money grab thing where we're selling like hundreds of these tickets per show. Like we're literally selling 4 of them, and like 4 people per show will get to do this. And so then I was like, okay, $900 seems like a steal, low-key, if you're like for that, don't you think?
Yeah, I agree. And except it is potentially free labor.
That's true.
Labor that someone's paying to do.
That's true. Well, she did say like you can help if you want. She didn't make it seem like you have to like help set up, but you're there for all of it. But I don't know. I just think that would be kind of like a neat thing for, she said it's never been done before. People aren't doing this. It would be neat for some stars to do it. You don't seem like you're totally like into it.
I don't really have a strong opinion on it. I think it's cool. I'll be curious to see how it goes.
Kim Kardashian is suing Lana Del Rey because Lana like did a Skims campaign and didn't disclose that it was an ad. I'm like, Kim, Lana didn't even realize. Lana just fucking posted the picture. She didn't know she had to do that. Lana's not really like in the online. Just Kim, drop it. Okay, I know you're a lawyer. You want to use your law degree. You're representing yourself in court.
Do you really want to like add fuel to that fire? You know who she's friends with.
You know who she's friends with. You know she was at the Super Bowl last year.
Two of Taylor's friends now are getting sued.
I know. Who's next?
High profile.
Who's next? Isn't that kind of hilarious though? I'm like, Kimmy. Lana didn't know.
It's giving that could have been a text.
It's giving hey, can you add? Can you just add that this is an ad, please? Thank you. She's like, I bet it's, Lana's like, no, I didn't want Taylor to know. I didn't want Taylor to know that it was actually an ad. Okay, and the last thing is that I've got to figure out what's going on between Alex and Alex. You know, the 2 most famous Alexes.
Me too.
Because Hot Mess was definitely dropped from the Unwell Network.
Yeah, it was, and it's giving she doesn't have her IP.
No, she does, because Alex Cooper made a comment about it. Because Alex Earl was like, yeah, I can't really talk about it, but like I can't do the podcast for a little bit, but I really want to. So she's doing these vlogs now. But Alex Cooper made a statement. She put on her Instagram story, I don't know why Alex can't do her podcast. It has nothing to do with me. She owns her entire IP. And I'm like,
that's
of
important
course,
because a lot of people were pointing to like how hypocritical for Alex to own someone's IP when that's the entire reason she is where she is that she stood up for herself.
I'm like, we should have known that she wasn't going to be taking people's IPs.
Yeah, and people are so ready. They see how successful Alex is.
Yeah.
They're so ready to be like, see, she sucks. It's
I
like,
know.
who cares? But I am curious to know why.
I know.
wonder if she like said something. Like, if she said something on the podcast, maybe someone's suing her. Who knows?
Well, it's just I want the tea. I want to know what's going on. But apparently Alex like owns her whole IP. So I don't know. It's interesting. I would love to know what happened. Unwell Weekend looked like so much fun. Didn't see Lucy Hale there. Harry Jowsey was there. No sign of Lucy. I wouldn't trust Harry to be in an event like that without me if I'm his girlfriend. Sorry. I'm like, no, you don't get to go, or I'm your +1. Like, there's no in between. Anyway, all right, let's do our rotations.
You're first.
Oh, fuck, I am?
Yeah, I was dream last week.
Okay, then. All right, well, first up on my dream rotation, I'm going to put Ariana Grande. No, I just talked a little bit of shit on you, but there is just something to be said. I just love your music. I love your music. I love it. I could listen to you all day. I love your mind. I love your whole vibe. You're the best. So that's the first one. The next one, no, I'm not on Dream. I was on Dream because Mom was on mine last week. You are on Dream.
Who? What?
Yeah, I knew it. I'm on Nightmare. You're on Dream.
All right. Let me look at this. Okay, Mike, I am because I wrote stuff down for it. But I also wrote stuff down for Nightmare. But
well,
anyway.
That's good. You're prepared.
Number 1 is Mike White.
Okay.
I'm just upset. I don't know. He makes me feel creatively energized.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah.
Next is Misty from Yellow Jackets. That bitch makes me laugh like nobody else. Christina Ricci is so fucking funny. Young Misty I'm not like obsessed with. The actress doesn't do it for me. But Christina Ricci being old Misty, she is so fucking funny. It makes me laugh. So I literally laughed out loud watching Yellow Jackets this week. And if you watched Yellow Jackets this week, there was not a lot to laugh about. There was a lot of
way to sell it
going on.
Way to sell it
going on this week. And then last is Miss Cobell.
Miss Cobell. Phoebe's sending me quotes from her. She goes, "Even under the cover of night, it is too perilous. We wait for night." Like that's how she talks.
And they're pissed off at Mr. Milchek for just speaking big words.
Too perilous. It's a little bit
chosen one.
Give me your Robert Durst impression singing the Keir ode to Keir.
Chosen one Keir.
Oh, okay, vibrato. Okay, Phoebe said who's the best vocalist? Olivia, Sabrina, or Phoebe K. Connell?
Or Robert Durst.
Oh my God.
Got him all course.
Okay, that was great. Stupid. And that's for that one listener who absolutely needs a Robert Durst impression in every episode or they'll leave or they're outie. Okay.
All right. They commented again. Did you see?
I know. Yeah. They're happy as long as you're providing. So don't forget.
Love you,
Mama
buddy.
will provide. Okay. And for my nightmare, first up is going to be Grant from Temptation Island.
Gonna be on mine.
Yeah, and so it's like, you know what? Don't worry, Grant. You were like, oh, I'm out of a job because Phoebe's on Dream, and it's like, don't
you
worry.
were on it last week.
You're on mine. I think so. And you know what? You might have a permanent spot in the nightmare rotation because fuck you. You're such a little nightmare. You leave Ashley alone, okay? Leave her alone. Block her number. And Ashley, I want you to block his number, but I just know that you're not going to, so I need him to do it. And it's not because I don't think you're strong and beautiful and capable. I do. I just don't think you're there yet. Okay, anyway. Next up is Mark S. on Severance. What are you doing not opening that door? You better go to Gemma. What kind of a life?
On mine too.
What kind of life? And we are morphing into one. What kind of a life you think you're going to have down here on the severed floor? Are you out of your gourd? Oh my God. Okay, so Mark S. And then finally, I'm putting Lachlan. I'm putting Lachlan Ratliff from White Lotus because I think you are TRUBL. I think you're trouble, baby. I don't like you. Honestly.
Do you think he spit out the drugs?
I don't know. I think he either spit out the drugs. Glenn Powell and Sydney. Honestly, this would make me feel better about a lot of things. If Glenn Powell and Sydney Sweeney could just be together, I'd just be like, okay, well, at least that's going well. I just am like, what are we waiting for? You know, come on. The writing has been on the wall. Let's just kiss and make up, okay? When cameras aren't around. All right. Who did I just say? I just had my last nightmare, and then you popped in because you're not listening. You're scrolling the web. So what did I just say?
You said, Mark S., what kind of life are you going to live on the severed floor?
And then I said Lachlan Ratliff, and you said
yes, because
do you think he spit out the drugs? So
yeah.
I think he either spit out the drugs, or I think Lockie's a lot naughtier than we thought, and he's been taking drugs.
I think he is a lot naughtier than we think. But
yeah.
I think that's why he spit out the drugs.
I either think he spit them out or he's like used to it. Like it's not going to fuck him up the way it's going to fuck Saxon up because Saxon doesn't like to be out of control. And I'm like, no wonder you don't like to be out of control, homie. If this is your fucking family. I don't know. And there was that moment where Lachlan is, you know the scene, the three of them in the bed, and Saxon's like, what the fuck is going on? And Lachlan is reaching over and we see Lachlan's face smiling at Saxon, and then he sees Saxon's face being like, what the fuck is happening? And this is gross. And Lachlan's face is like you can see on his face that he knows what he's doing is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe Saxon could even like look at him the next day. Like, I don't know how.
I feel like for a while, I think that it was probably like he wasn't sure if what he was remembering things correctly until the girls confirmed it.
Oh my God.
Which is like, girl, what
were you thinking? I don't like the French girl. I don't like the French girl one bit.
She's trouble.
She's TRUBL. Okay, guys.
This is a high schooler.
Hello.
I know he's 18.
She had
but he's
the
a high
line,
schooler.
oh, he is 18. Thank God. I didn't know how old he was, dude. I thought he was like 16.
They made that comment when they got on the boat.
Oh,
I
thank
think
God.
so that
Oh,
they could
thank
make sure
God.
that we were all like.
Because
okay
the entire time I was like, are we just watching this? Like, because the girl was like, I love watching young boys. Like, you can feel their heart. I was like, oh my God, you fucking sicko. Like, I hope Gary does kill you, kind of. Because you're out of control.
Right?
Well, he's going by both. Remember?
All right.
Remember that? Anyway, I'm excited for another episode this evening and the finale next week. So it's exciting. All right, guys. This is a very informative episode, chock full of pop culture realness. Hope you guys enjoyed. We love you so much. Thank you for listening. Make sure you are subscribed to the Patreon. Guys, today's April 1st, if you're listening on Tuesday, April Fool's Day, famously. And that means we're coming up on 3 years of the Pretty Little Podcast. I feel like we just hit 2 years. I feel like 2 years was 2 minutes ago. Remember all that?
I feel like we just started doing this.
Phoebe, what the heck's going to happen for 3 years? Do you remember what happened last year for 2 years? Things got a little out of hand. What is going to happen? Not Phoebe forgetting.
Like
Phoebe's like, what was weird about it? What got out of hand? Oh, just something.
Ashley and Shay start a podcast.
I wake up on my third. We would let that go. We'd be like, okay, we're at season 7. We're just gonna call it quits now. It's fine. Just kidding. We wouldn't do that, but we wouldn't do what we did. All right, we didn't really do anything wrong. Okay. Anyway. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Please, it is 3 years of us. Tell everyone you know about us, and if you think that they'll hate us, even more of a reason to tell them we love hate listeners. Guys, thanks for listening. We love you, and we will see you next week. And wow. Okay, we're getting canceled.